Yo, I wanted to give a big shout out to all the real ones out there and get you guys a t-shirt that you could rock in the off season, during the season, all year long. All you got to do, go to chatsports.com/real Knicks. That's chatsports.com/real Knicks. I'll have the link to that in the comments and description of the video. Get your t-shirt today, and if you're a real one, drop a real one in the comments right now. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We have a loaded show today. The report came out this morning from Hoops Hype and Michael Scotto. He said a report that the Knicks, Lakers, and Jazz have already talked about a 3-team deal involving Donovan Mitchell. He also reported that the Los Angeles Lakers are interested in Cam Reddish. And then Tony Jones of The Athletic, I wanted to make sure I get him his credit, he said that the New York Knicks are not willing to trade Quentin Grimes, and that's who the Jazz want in a deal. We're going to break all that down in today's show, but first, we couldn't start today's show without showing the captain, Patrick Ewing, some love. It's his birthday. Show him some love. Type 33 in the comments section. Arguably one of the best Knicks of all time. It's one of my favorite pictures ever of Patrick Ewing. Show some love. It's his birthday. Type HBD or 33 in the comments to show Ewing some love. Let's get into Donovan Mitchell, though, because there's a lot of smoke going around. Hoops Hype put out an article. There's been a lot of stuff coming out of Utah from some beat reporters. But the latest report is that the Knicks, Lakers, Jazz have already had talks about a 3-team trade that lands Mitchell in New York, Russell Westbrook to Utah. There's been a lot of talk about Westbrook to the Knicks, but this time it's Westbrook to Utah, according to this report from Michael Scotto of Hoops Hype. This was his full write-up on the report. He said the proposed 3-team trade scenario included Westbrook going to Utah and getting bought out. Utah would send Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks, a combination of 2 players, including Patrick Beverley and Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, or Malik Beasley to the Lakers, and the Jazz would receive significant draft pick compensation from the Knicks and Lakers. The Knicks also would have had to part with veteran salary fillers such as Derrick Rose to help make the salaries work. He also said the Lakers have had interest in trading for Knicks forward Cam Reddish, who could also become part of a trade. Last season, the Lakers nearly acquired Reddish as a part of a blockbuster 3-team trade talks between the Lakers, Knicks, and Raptors at the time. I have a lot of thoughts about this report because he also said that these talks happened a couple of weeks ago, but he decided to put the report out today. But I wanted to kind of make a graphic and show you what that trade looked like roughly, because he didn't really give that many details. But the Knicks, they would get Mitchell. The Jazz, they would get Russell Westbrook, and he would get bought out. They would get draft picks from the Knicks and the Lakers. And the Lakers received Beverley, Clarkson, Bogdanovic, or Beasley, and Cam Reddish. I have a lot of thoughts about this, and we'll run through them kind of quickly here. I want everybody, for every report that comes out about Donovan Mitchell, to take it with a grain of salt. It is the rumor season of the offseason. I don't really want to believe anything unless it comes from Shams, Woj, Brian Windhorst, or Mark Stein. No discredit to Hoops Hype, but it's weird that the talks happened a couple of weeks ago, and they're starting to put out the report today. I don't really understand. But Westbrook to Utah, that's something new. We've heard from Mark Stein. We've also heard from Shams Charania that the Knicks were interested in trading Julius Randle for Russell Westbrook, which leads me to my next point. What about Julius Randle? If Westbrook goes to Utah and Julius is not in the deal going to the Lakers, what's going to happen with him? The Knicks do not want to start the season with Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle all on the floor. That's been talked about by multiple notable media members. It's also still F them picks, no doubt about it. I am willing to trade all of the picks I have if I get to keep Grimes, Toppin, and Quickly. I think a lot of us are on the same page. Some people may be scared. 8 picks, oh my goodness. The Knicks, they have 4 valuable draft assets. Their own, the rest of them, they're mid. If you know, you know. They're mid first round picks. They're just not that good of first round picks. They're highly protected, and they're going to be just a little bit of sweetener. Not the bulk of the deal. The bulk of the deal will be their own first round picks that the Knicks have. They can only trade 4 of those. My main question is, though, Why would the Knicks do this? And how do the Lakers get so many players? I know you got to match the salary for Donovan Mitchell, but is Russell Westbrook at this point really worth getting back? Beverly, Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, or Malik Beasley and Cam Reddish? My question is why? Why would the Knicks do this? They would only, in my opinion, get involved in a 3-team deal involving the Lakers when it comes to Donovan Mitchell if the Knicks get to offload Julius Randle's salary. Otherwise, I really don't see how this deal makes sense. We'll pop it back up on screen, and I'll ask you a question. Would you make this trade? You get Donovan Mitchell. We don't know how many draft picks it is, but the Lakers, they get a lot of good players for Russell Westbrook, who's not even a good basketball player at this point anymore. But I want to hear from all the real ones in the New York Knicks Now faithful out there. Type A for accept, type D for decline on if you would make this trade. When a trade happens, we are going to be going live on this channel, and it is going to be a party. But we don't only talk about Donovan Mitchell. Daily Knicks coverage. It's 100% free. News, rumors, breaking news, segments, trade ideas, mailbags, audience interaction, and we are starting to go live once a week, and we might even start going live for game days and post-game reactions. So subscribe and become like the 6,000 people that have subscribed over the past 3 months. We've been growing like crazy. That's a shout out to the best fans in the world, the New York Knicks. So if you love the Knicks and you're looking for a one-stop shop on YouTube, we're your place. I promise. Knicks Now by Chat Sports. Hit that big red button. We talked about Grimes off the top of the show, and the latest reports are that the Knicks do not want to trade Quentin Grimes, and that makes a lot of sense. He's a 3-and-D player. He's great on offense, great on defense. He can shoot the three. He does all the things, in my opinion, that the Knicks need on this roster. They don't have elite perimeter defenders. They don't have any elite three-point shooters. He's that one guy on this roster, and I feel like, just like Leon Rose probably feels, he would be a great fit next to Donovan Mitchell, R.J. Barrett, and Jalen Brunson in kind of a four-man rotation when you close out games. But the Monty Show on YouTube, he's also on Twitter at The Monty Show. He does a lot of rumor stuff on YouTube, and I've seen this from multiple people on Twitter the past couple of days, and we're a news and rumors channel. We're going to bring up rumors. We'll talk about them. I'll give you my take, and this is the latest one. NBA sources tell me the New York Knicks have pulled Quentin Grimes in talks with the Utah Jazz. Knicks and Jazz have spoken in recent days, but have moved further apart on a deal. The Knicks seem resigned to moving on from Mitchell until the Jazz become reasonable in talks. He then quote tweeted that and added some more context and said, there continues to be a belief that the Knicks are frustrated with what they view as an unreasonable asking price for Donovan Mitchell. Danny Ainge has continued to ask for 6 picks as a starting point, and while the Knicks value Mitchell, they have said the asking price is unreasonable. And that makes a lot of sense. I feel like if they felt like the deal was reasonable, the trigger would have been pulled. The deal would have already been made. We know Danny Ainge wants to get a king's ransom. He kind of screwed up the trade market because of the Rudy Gobert trade. I think we need a Kevin Durant trade to happen to kind of reset that market. But those are the latest deals. They don't want to give up Quentin Grimes. And Tony Jones, who's on the drive with Spence Checkets, got your credit. I just want to give you your credit on the ESPN radio. He has said he was on a podcast. He spoke for about 30, 35 minutes. And this guy on Twitter, Dunzo, he did a really good job, in my opinion, of breaking down what Tony Jones said and kind of all the newsworthy bullet points, I guess you would say. He said that the Knicks' first offer involved multiple first-round picks, but most were protected and not unprotected. He said the one player that the Knicks are trying not to include is Quentin Grimes. He said the one player the Jazz are insisting on is Quentin Grimes, and he said the Knicks are open to trading Obi Toppin, and that one kind of hurts my heart a little bit, because I think Obi would be a great fit alongside Brunson, Mitchell, and RJ, and Mitchell Robinson going forward. I think he could be that power forward, a high-energy guy, efficient, good in the fast break, kind of your short corner three-point shooter, and Obi, I think, will continue to get better on defense and provide some switching ability down the line. So if it's between Obi and Grimes, I don't know who to pick. I go back all the time. Because when I look at the stats, when Quentin Grimes played more than 20 minutes per night, which was 15 games this past season, he played really, really well. 12 points per game, a steal and a half, and was one of the most efficient players on the Knicks. When he played minutes, he played well. 44% from the field and 44% from downtown. Quentin Grimes, no doubt, is a guy you want to keep. But sometimes in a trade, you got to give up stuff that you like to get stuff that you love. At the end of the day, I still think this trade happens because the Knicks have what the Jazz want and the Jazz have what the Knicks want. But I think this is a question that all Knicks fans need to kind of start thinking about going forward. Would you include Quentin Grimes in a Donovan Mitchell trade? I don't know if I would, because I could see Quentin Grimes becoming a really good 3-and-D guy going forward. But is it worth holding on to him and missing out on a superstar talent at age 25 like Donovan Mitchell? It's a lot to think about. And that's why I don't get paid the big bucks, because I'm too emotional sometimes, and I want to keep all the young guys. But Donovan Mitchell is a good basketball player. But I'll let you guys sway me in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Type T for trade, or you can go down and type K for keep. I want to say thank you to everybody that has made New York Knicks Now a part of their day today. The real ones, we got you guys a shirt. And show out for me, because I told my bosses that we got to get some gear on Knicks Now. I want to get some that the real ones can all get. And you guys, if you guys don't buy it, we won't do stuff like this. And that's fine. We don't have to do gear. But a lot of people have asked me, they said, yo, I want some gear. I want to support the show, and we'll do that. We got you guys a shirt. Just go to chatsports.com/realknicks. Mine is on the way. Once I get it, I'll wear it on the show. I'll see you guys later. Drop a real one if you're a real one.